Kia ora, hello, hola, bonjour, bola, g'day, sup? How's it all going, everyone? Wherever you're watching in the world, uh, welcome to another episode of the Couch Warriors, the show that loves to talk about the Warriors and everyone in general because that's what we love. We love rugby league. But I'm here. I'm John Lazaron. I'm here with my co-host Richard, the bandwagon conductor lady. How's it going, bro? After that win from the Warriors over the Titans over the weekend, how you feeling, mate? Still after that game?
Kia ora, John. Tula lava. My husband's Samoan. Yeah, good, bro. I'm happy to be here. It was an amazing victory. The Warriors are absolutely up and about. They deserve to be on top of the table after that performance. Just putting the sword through the bottom of the table Titans. It's just I talked last week about a convincing performance against the Dragons, but this was next level. It's the best performance we've seen from the Warriors in about 30 years, I reckon. Love it. I'm happy to be here, John.
Yeah, oh no, good stuff, mate. And yes, and we'll definitely talk about that because the word convincing is the right word, and it's a word that you were using a lot last week. And yeah, I wasn't impressed as you know, but no, it was a good game. We'll get right into that, but before we do, I just want to have a quick 30 seconds or to a minute just on some big news that came out just over the past few hours. Brandon Smith, Kiwis hooker. Plays for Souths now after he left the Roosters. And just on recent weeks, he was stopped at the airport on the Gold Coast. I think it was at the Gold Coast. He was stopped at the airport by the police. They questioned him, etc. And then he was let go. He was allowed to play. But today we find out that he's going on some charges. He's got some charges against him for drug use, for supplying drugs, and also for some betting charges there. I think the betting charges are more towards passing on inside information, mate. But I mean, was that a bit of a shock to you when you heard that news?
Maybe not the drug stuff. He's obviously a pretty loose unit, and I don't think he's got. I feel like he's had a bit of a record. Something's happened in the past, so not so surprised. But yeah, the insider trading's not a great thing if that's going on,
Yeah,
and we'll see how deep that is. Whether it's just him having a beer with someone and being like, oh, like talking about a set move. Maybe it's some hot take that Alex Johnson's going to score a double this week. Like that's hardly a hot take. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to sort of hear a little bit more about it. But yeah, as I said, like I wasn't not super. Like as I said, he's known to have a good time, bit of a loose unit. So
yeah,
it's hardly surprising. But if there is, yeah, like this inside training and all that, obviously the club was aware of it. I'm surprised he has been playing the last couple of weeks, but
yeah.
he starred for well, it didn't star exactly, but he played for the Rabbitohs against the Dragons on the weekend where they got up 40-0. So maybe there was a few things going on there. He had a few chat to a few of the Dragons boys, and who knows, man. But it's not a good look on the game. So hopefully it all comes out and he gets to clear his name. But we'll watch the space, I reckon.
Yeah, I hope he does because I love Brandon Smith. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. He is a bit of a loose unit and got a bit of a mouth on him as well. He's not afraid to say what he wants to say. But he's a big laugh. The old cheese there. He's
yeah.
always good for a laugh and stuff. So hopefully it gets cleared out. I mean, I think South City put a statement out saying something along the lines of it's been referred to the NRL integrity unit, so they'll leave it at that. No more comments after this. So I
Mm,
mean, I don't know if that means he's been stood down or not. I don't know, but we'll see. But I just wanted to bring that up because even though he's not playing for the Warriors, he is a Kiwi,
yeah.
and yeah, a Kiwi fan favorite as well. One of my favorites as well. So I just wanted to bring that up. But hopefully, like you said, he gets to clear his names. So let's get into it, mate. Warriors Titans. So first of all, mate, I mean, before the game started, I'm not sure if you would have seen it, but the video that I did before the preview before the game was basically saying, look, this game was really important. This game was very vital in the Warriors season, not because just the fact that we needed to win the game. Of course, we needed to win the game, obviously, but it's the fact that it's how we go about it. It was the most vital thing because we can't the game before this game was against the Dragons. We won the game,
Give it
but
to me.
here we go again. But it was not a good display of rugby league. It was probably it was actually an awful game of rugby league. All round, and we came out on top. Yes, we got the 2 points. Good, awesome. Kept us in the top four. But the thing is, our performances like that are going to get us through. And get us through any further against the likes of the Bulldogs, the Panthers, the Storm, and the Raiders. And look, I mean, those four teams are all on display on the weekend. So, funnily enough, it just happened to
Yep.
be that way. And look how awesome those games were, and sort of thing. So we needed to lift up another level in terms of attack, and that's what I wanted to see. Is that not only do we need a win, we need a convincing win. We need a comprehensive win where we show what we can do. And I wouldn't say it was a full 80-minute performance, but it's going in the right direction. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to say about that. What really stood out for you in this game? What in terms of from the past maybe 7 or 8 weeks?
Just yeah, they were just so much more clinical. I think we held onto the ball better, apart from sort of the first 5 minutes. We,
Yeah,
Fisher Harris, the first hit up of the game, he first play the ball, he knocks the ball on, and you think, oh gosh, and he's
oh
made a bit of
yes,
a habit of doing that. He did it twice in the game, got lucky in the second half with the captain's challenge on one of them, but I feel like it's happened, a few times the last few weeks. So hopefully it's something that he'll be working on. I think he just gets a bit fired up, so you can't really hold it against him. But no, I just think they just outplayed the Titans sort of all over the field. When you look at it, sort of 1-13, 1-17. Like we had standout sort of performances everywhere. No, but the last few weeks we've had a few guys have been looking pretty patchy, but I think everyone had a pretty good game. There was definitely a few standouts, which we'll talk about in the Eels, but
yep,
um, yeah, I mean, having a look through the stats, we had 54% of the possession. We completed at 85%. So 85, that's
nice,
great for us. I think we
yep,
normally are pretty high. We're normally sitting at and sort of like maybe 80%. But 85, I mean, that's great. That's
yeah,
completing 17 of 20 sets. You take that any day of the week.
yep,
When you they led the runs, run meters, post contact, line breaks, tackle breaks, kick returns. Kick returns was 201 to 103. So once again, Dallin and Chance and Roger were really, they were doing a lot of work there. Whether Chance is the best option at fullback, I still think Tane offers more on attack, but I mean you can't. He got went through plenty of work. So they're just different players, and it's
yep,
just how Andrew Robertson wants to coach the team, how he wants the team to play, and obviously, that jersey is Chance, and unfortunately, Tane actually went down for knee injury in the New South Wales Cup
yeah,
game, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we led offloads, kicks, kicking meters. We had three forced dropouts, which is always good. So we just kind of like we had a couple of really good stints where we were really good. I think we still wasn't the complete performance, 80-minute performance,
yep,
obviously, that first 5 minutes. And, that final 10 minutes, we let in a few late tries. And I was watching it with a few mates, and they were sort of like, oh, I'm getting worried now. But I was never like, like I was like,
yeah,
no, the buffer was actually too big for.
yeah,
But mind you, in saying that, I don't know if you saw the Cowboys game, the Cowboys Tigers game yesterday, but the
yeah,
Cowboys scored like four tries in what felt like about 10 minutes. So it can happen. But yeah, I loved what I saw for the majority of that game. I still
yep,
think we're not going to be able to have those lapses of concentration against these good teams, and they will especially if the
yep,
Titans are even the three tries they scored were in either the first 5 minutes or the final 10 minutes. So we just need to start and end the game strongly. But
yep.
liked what I saw all around the park really.
Yep. Well, let me go through the points you've just made. Like, because let's from the start to end on your points. I agree. Like when Fisher Harris dropped the ball, in that first set, my mind was like, oh flip, here we go again. Like this is not the first time this has happened this season. It's happened actually a handful of times this season for the Warriors, and it hasn't ended well for us. But thankfully, it didn't go the way I thought it would. Because usually when that happens, something just it sort of just changes their body mindset. They're just their body language and everything. They just go into their shells, etc. But it didn't happen this time, which was good. So thankfully that didn't happen. I thought the Warriors, the ruck speed, they played at a really high tempo. They were playing at speed, and I just thought that we sort of gassed them a bit as well. So that was really good. That was really good. And seeing them play at that speed, it just shows you that that if they can play at that kind of tempo throughout the game, they're gonna make a lot of opposition defense tired. So I think that was a really good sign there for them to do that. And even the commentators, the Aussie commentators, were saying, they're controlling the ruck, they're playing at their speed and stuff, and it was going good. And they weren't just doing hit ups; they were spreading the ball out a bit as well. So
Mm.
they were doing that a bit. They were changing things up a bit, so which was good. It actually looked like a totally different team to what we've seen over the last 7 8 weeks. So that was awesome. That was really great to see. Um, really, really want to commend, Harris Tavita and Tanner Boyd.
Hey,
No,
there it
no,
is.
no,
There
no,
it
no,
is.
hang on, no. I've always, and I still stick with my. I think he's probably better suited somewhere in a different position, and Locke is one of my ones, one of my thoughts there. But it's hard. You can't really take Aaron Clark off his pedestal at the moment. But
No way.
no, but he actually had a pretty good game, and it was actually a good game because he complemented Tanner Boyd really well. Who actually I thought he had a fantastic game. His kicking game, he got what 6 from 6 or 7 from 7, I think.
6 from 6.
Conversions,
Yeah.
yeah,
Couple,
conversion rate,
couple, couple, couple from the sideline as well. So it's
yeah,
always nice to see that when you got. He's obviously like a confidence player.
yeah,
We've seen how he can get when he's maybe confidence isn't high, but
yeah.
yeah, it was obviously a big game for him up against his old team, and really cool to see him do that. I thought.
And we said that in last week's episode, didn't we? So he needed to step up and sort of manage the team a bit better, not just manage it, but just show his attacking skills. Because when he showed glimpses of it over the last couple of weeks, but they were only glimpses, and it was too late. But then from here, he showed it from the start, and he was great. I loved seeing the Warriors' first tries, the couple of tries that they scored with Roger, etc. When it was a lot of the draw and pass. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing too outrageous. It was just a simple, good rugby league, good technical rugby league. Draw the man, pass the ball, and quick hands. You're gonna score. That's all they need to do. They don't have to do anything flashy, and it was really good to see because most teams do it that way. So that's why I was really happy to see them do something that was just really good technical rugby league, and that was awesome to see as well. But yeah, again, the halves I thought they gelled well, and if they're gonna gel, if Tanner Boyd and Harris Tavita are gonna be the halves pairing going into the finals, it's good to see them gel now rather than in the finals, rather than gel now, so they get a few games under their belt together somewhere. If you get what I mean. But
Yep,
can
absolutely.
I want to talk to you more about the chance thing because like you took the words out of my mouth because I was actually going to say the same thing. I think Tua Picky, for example, to me is the better fullback, offers a bit more on attack, and like playmaking skills. However, Chan's at centre because that's the only other position he's played this year. I didn't put him on the wing or anything, but he didn't really do anything there, didn't he? He didn't do anything
No.
there, but at fullback, it's probably his best position. That's probably the only position you can play him at.
At the moment, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
especially if Pompey and Berry are fit as well. I mean, I'm a little bit
yeah.
worried about Rocco Berry, but I haven't seen anything. Like, you haven't
Nah,
seen anything,
I
heard
think I think it was
anything?
just I think it was just a little wind. I think he got winded. I think it was
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
nothing
Because
serious.
he was great.
Because
He was great.
yep,
I thought he was really solid. And he's so good on the kick chase. Like he really. I think he adds a real element to the team. Often
yep,
we'll do these all right kicks, but they're just a little bit too far. But he's always there. He's always there,
yep.
and it meant that a lot of the kicking was there's a lot more purpose to it. I thought.
Well, that's exactly it. And kick chase. Not only did he contest the ball, but if he wasn't there in time to contest it, he made sure he put on some good hits.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he put pressure on the opposition where they dropped the ball a lot in the air. And instead of just letting them catch the ball, we actually put pressure on them. Look what happened. Even when Roger contested the ball at the time when he tapped the ball back to Harris David and he passed it out to Pompey and Pompey scored that try where he rolled over when he rolled over right at the end.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. Look what happens when you contest the bloody ball.
Mm.
It's like it's not rocket science, but for some reason for the Warriors it's just something that they don't do. But when they do it, look what happens.
Yeah.
So I mean, it may sound like I'm a bit outraged. It's not that. It's just because it's good to see them do it, but it's just frustrating it takes them 25 rounds to start really doing it. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
it's better to do it. As you said before, to do it now and then
Yeah,
still waiting for it to come into the finals. And
yeah,
maybe that was just that win was just the click they needed on their switch
yeah,
to bump them up to the next level and to really find some form coming into the finals. Fingers
yeah.
crossed.
Well, let's hope so. So yeah, really hope so. So going back to Chance, I really think that despite the fact that I think Tuapiki is a better fullback and rather have Tuapiki there personally, I don't know where else you put Chance in terms of positioning. I mean, he hasn't been tried on the wing, but and I'm sure he'd do a good job. But his strength is when he just takes the ball up and gains a lot of meters, and that's exactly what he did
Yeah, I
on
mean, like,
looking. Yeah,
yeah, 22 runs, 192 run
yeah,
meters, 37 kick return, 70 post contact. So like he was doing some 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 dirty work there. Like, and
yeah,
that's the player he is. You're never going to question his effort and his
yeah.
impact on the game. It's just different to what we sort of see in Tuapiki as far as
Or
bringing
other fullbacks.
other fullbacks, like
Yeah,
kind of bringing a bit more attack. You look at
yeah,
Brimson for the Titans, for example. I
yeah,
mean, they've got three guys. They've got Kenny, they've got Brimson, they've got
yeah,
Campbell. They've got three guys who can play fullback who are all game breakers with ball in hand. But
yeah,
his chance is more of a defensive fullback. But yeah, you can never question his effort
yeah.
and like
Agree,
he wears his heart on his sleeve. That's for sure.
agree, totally agree. So I mean, just outside the game outside of previewing, reviewing the game, what does this mean for Tuapiki in your eyes? Because like if we both who are big advocates for Tuapiki, wanting and we both think he's the better fullback, and I'm sure many others do as well. But if we both conceding the fact as well that there's no other position really for Chance. Centres doesn't work for him. I don't know if wing will work for him. I mean, he hasn't been tried there again, as I've said that many times. But if fullback is the only position really he's gonna actually do his best and do his damage, what does that mean for Tuapiki in the future? Because he is a star in the making. He's already a star, but you know what I mean. He's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
going to bigger things. Yeah,
Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what the club's got planned for him because he's too good to let him leave. But if I were him, I'd be because Chance has signed on for another year, maybe even 2 years. I should
yeah,
check
I think
that.
so. Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know whether there's a plan for next year. Maybe next year in the off season they'll train Chance in the centres or on the wing. I
yeah,
mean, obviously they've got two pretty capable wings at the moment, but we're not quite sure on Rog in particular. Now, there's been a few rumours about his, what he's going to be doing next year. Might be going to play some rebel Saudi Rugby Union League. I haven't
yeah.
seen anything in writing about that, but there was some rumours
Well,
a few weeks
I
ago.
think he's admitted that he's been approached. I can't remember exactly the words he said, but
Yeah,
I think there was something along those lines anyway. Yeah,
yeah. So if there's no plan there, I'm intrigued to see what they do because he's too good of a player to be having playing New South Wales Cup for you know third year in a row really because
yeah,
you think about he's obviously played a fair bit of first grade but not a lot of it not in his preferred position and most of it well, all of it just when other people are injured and it's forced them to play fullback. So um, I don't want to see him leave. We've seen
yeah,
a few guys over the years, young Warriors guys.
yeah,
The club hasn't maybe handled them the right way, and they've been let go. But and I mean, Ali Katoa is the one that will always come to my mind, especially in recent years. But we seem to be doing well in the fact that we're holding on to some of these young fellas. We've obviously got the guys who are in the first grade team at the moment.
yeah,
Your Halasemas, your Vaimagas, you got your Eddie
yeah,
Irumira Toiova, who I
yeah.
think he's third or fourth game, but he scored his first try on the weekend. I
He
thought
was
that
brilliant.
was that was his best showing
That was he was
in a
brilliant.
Warriors jersey. I
Yeah,
loved what I saw from him. He looks like he'd be really good. Like he's a big boy,
yeah,
but look, he's good on his feet and looks like he's got some real skills. So I'm very excited to see. As Laban goes down, it's cool to see him stepping up.
yeah.
Obviously, you got Kalis Fitialofa, I think his name is.
Yeah,
The guy who he got signed for Penrith. Had pretty much been
yeah.
signed with Penrith, and then he
Did a
pulled out.
backflip.
Like,
Yeah,
who's pulling out of a deal with Penrith these days? Like, so obviously he's loving his time there. So the club's obviously doing well with some of the young guys, but yeah, the Tuapiki one's it's a real because he's not a forward, you can't just play him on the bench, or there's only one position for him really. Like I mean, fullback's his best position.
yeah.
So I don't know. Will he request come not November 1? Will he be requesting a um a transfer somewhere? I don't know. Hopefully
Don't know.
not.
Hopefully not. Like hopefully he stays because he's brilliant, and like I said, we both love him. We both love him, and it's just it's about finding a spot because as soon as they put Chance into fullback, he doesn't just drop out of the starting 13. He drops out of the 17.
Yeah,
He doesn't just stay in the third, drop out of the starting lineup. He drops out of the lineup altogether. So it's hard to find a spot for him if Chance is going to be playing fullback. So that's why I'm saying that's why I'm asking the legit genuine question. What does this mean for Tuapiki?
yeah,
So yeah, but hopefully he stays on. But just quickly going on Inamir. Eddie Toyava. How do you pronounce his last name?
Toyava.
You want to do eh?
Toyava.
Toyava. Sorry,
Toyava.
I don't know why I said it the wrong way. Sorry. Apologies there. But I thought he had a brilliant game. I thought he had like you said the skills, and he looked really calm as well.
Yeah.
Looked really calm for such a young guy. So like I just thought great, and getting that exposure to more first grade exposure, it's just going to do wonders for him. And it makes me think, with Andrew Webster having to bring in all these young guys, and they're they're doing their jobs well. You know, hopefully
Yeah.
he'll have that'll make him sort of want to try Jet Cleary at some point. Not this season. I don't think it's going to happen this season unless there was a major injury. I don't
Yeah.
think it would happen unless Boyd got injured. Whereas in Tomato Martin probably got a 7 there. But you know what I mean. It has to be something dramatic would have to happen for him to be pulled in. But I think next year I think he should get a chance at first grade because he's doing really well in New South Wales Cup. So yeah,
Yeah. You get a
yep,
reliable surname, you know he's gonna.
yep.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
pretty
he
sure I saw a
seems to have
photo.
shown up. He seems to have proved already. Yeah, he'll do all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw a photo where his chin's growing a little bit longer as well. So it's good signs. It's definitely a good sign for the Warriors when the chin grows bigger, just like Nathan, like his brother. So anyway, let's move on. Anything else you want to mention about the game, mate? Because like I said, it was just a great game, and yeah, and anything else you want to mention going forward with this game?
Just to sort of reiterate that, what I was sort of saying earlier. I did point out that we only gave away how many? 2-6 again. So I don't know whether that's because Jackson
No,
Ford wasn't playing or
you know
not.
it. That's why you're bringing it up
It's-
because you know it.
he probably would have added an extra couple himself if he was playing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, still a few minutes. There's 7 penalties to 4 as the penalty counts. It's probably still a little bit more, but didn't pay there, and only 7 errors, which I thought was pretty good
yeah,
as well. So yeah, like I feel like, as I said before, we were completing at 85%. So it's always a good sign when when that's happening. And yeah, the 2-6 agains I was quite surprised about. It wasn't
yeah,
such a frustrating game to watch, and a lot of that's momentum. Like
yeah,
it's just what happens in the NRL, and like a lot of people will say, oh, refs hate the Warriors, and they do, obviously. Like, when the Warriors are losing, we all
yeah,
know it. Like the NRL loves to dog the Warriors, but yeah, when you got momentum on your side, like we did for the majority of that game, I'd say, um, yeah, yeah, the 6 against, that sort of makes sense there. And there was also just that there was a period in the game where I think it must have been before we scored those 2 tries, and we were sort of doing quite well, making our way up the field, but Boyd put 2 kicks. I think it was 2 kicks in a row that went and were caught in goal by the Titans,
yeah,
and it was just
yeah.
like, oh, like we gave away 7 tackle sets in a row, and so just
Yeah,
moments like that, when it was still only 18-6, I think, at that time. So it's not like the lead was huge,
yeah.
and yeah, so that's something for just the Tanner Boyd, who I'm sure that he'll be aware of that, and they'll be sort of working on that and ensuring it doesn't happen. One of them was very close. There was that one
Yeah,
that I think they even went and looked at it, and from memory, the bunker let the Warriors keep their challenge because it was that close. But rugby league can be a game of inches sometimes, and that would have been a good example of that. So just
well, Jaden.
something I wanted to see a little bit more. Like I think the kicking was pretty good on the whole, but
Yep,
just a little bit could have been better.
yep. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's funny when you're talking about that set because Jaden Campbell actually didn't even to tap the ball when he ran the
Oh
ball
yeah,
out. He didn't even tap the ball. He just ran and passed the ball. The referee saw it. The referee, I think that was only his second first grade game apparently, and he was actually pretty good. He was actually really
did,
fair, and yeah, I thought he wasn't that bad.
did you notice he had really hairy arms
No, I didn't notice,
by
mate.
any chance?
I've got hairy arms, mate. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
same. But a mate of mine said it on the group chat, and I couldn't I couldn't stop looking at them after. They're probably not that much hairier than my arms, to be honest. But yeah, like I couldn't stop looking at it after that. So if any of you out there watching the replays or anything, yeah, just if it, as footage of the referee, just have a look at his arms and just see what you
Why?
think. And
Why do you want footage of his arms?
well, why not?
You want confirmation. You want confirmation that his arms are hairy.
I just curious to see, yeah, whether other people think the same. A good
Yeah.
friend of the show, Dawn McCarmick, was the one who brought that up to on the in the group chat. So shout out,
No.
Dawn, if you're listening. We love your support.
All right, here I am. So all good. But no, that was. I thought he was actually a pretty good. I think he did pretty good on the night. He seemed to be pretty just. There was no bias in him or anything. He was just making
Yeah,
the calls as he saw them. So good on him, and hopefully it stays. He stays that way. But just quickly, I want to put you quickly on the spot. I didn't have this. I didn't have this planned in terms of my planned questions for you. But just because you brought up Jackson Ford, because the fact that he's not going to be back until the finals, because he'll miss out. He'll miss the next two games as well, which is the last game being the Seagulls, which will be the last game of the regular season. If the Warriors continue to keep progressing the way they are, like after this Titans game, and they keep on improving, like to the point where they're just playing amazingly well. Do you bring him straight back in, or do you reward the players that are actually in there for him? Because at the moment, Tanastoa Smith started in his spot, and yeah, and Valmanga actually came off the bench. So
yeah, but
yeah,
I'm bringing them straight back in.
yeah, fair
Absolutely.
enough.
I think
And
I love these young boys. Yeah, I think when I was talking about the young guys, I didn't even mention Tennessee Smith, but he's been great, and I think
yep,
he gave St. Bede's a shout out. My old high school. He's an old expedient, and he gave St. Bede's a shout out in the post game interview apparently. So love to hear that. But and I don't think he'd be the one that would drop. Maybe it'd be Eremia Toava. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think he's just been so good this year. And I know he does give away the odd penalty and the odd six again and all that, but I think you make up for it with the amount of
yep,
effort. Like you're probably going to get an extra 15, 20 tackles, an extra sort of 50 running meters from him. On top of what some other guys do, the effort he
yep,
puts in, I've just loved this season, and yeah, I mean he's definitely been one of our most consistent performers. I feel like so, yeah,
yeah.
straight in for me.
Fair enough.
What are you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. I just thought, it's a different. If the Warriors are doing really well, it's hard to drop someone when they're actually they're one of the reasons why you're doing so well. You get what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. But I mean, we'll never know until that last game what happens with the Warriors. So if they're going really well on a big high, it'll cause headaches for Webster. Good headaches, but because you'd think Jackson Ford will be just an easy drop back into the side. And even if we didn't want it to happen, just hypothetically, we didn't want it to happen, it will still happen. Happened with DWZ as well. When
Yeah,
he was out of form, they just keep bringing him back in and for Tuapuki when Tuapuki was playing well. So that's what's going to happen. But he's been. But the good thing about Jackson Ford is, despite the fact of his ill discipline, and he's been actually really, 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 really powerful player on the field. He's been doing really well. So
yeah.
yeah, looking forward to seeing him back on the field. All right, we'll move on from the game, mate. Well, not entirely, but I just want to ask you one. We'll go to the Wally Ems first. We'll go to the Wally Ems, and then I'll ask you a spontaneous question because someone mentioned something in the comments on TikTok, and I wanted to bring it up for you because it's related to you. So I want to bring it up with you. But let's go into your segment, mate. Wally Ems.
Wally Ems, yeah. So we've got our Wally Ems, our version of the Dally Ems, but we
Yep.
just give them to Warriors players. Give our 3-2-1 points for the week. Happy to start us off for this week. I've got Roger. Roger, two of us a shit, gets my 3 points, 2
Yep.
tries. I think he got an assist for Pompey's try. If not, he got up and flicked the ball back, and it led to it at least. So it was a piece of work that led to that. 2 line breaks. We had a game a couple of weeks ago where we didn't have a line break in the whole game.
Yep.
So really nice to see him getting two in this game. I think we had 4. The team had 4 all up from memory. 6 tackle breaks, 245 running meters, and 86 post contact. So yeah, he's just doing work out there. I watched the game with some mates on the weekends, and one of them he was bagging him. He was like, "Oh, he hasn't been playing very well this season, have you?" And I was like, "Have you been watching like the last 2 months where he's been our best player pretty much every
Yeah.
week?" And then by the end of the game, he was just like, "Oh, Roger, how good's Roger?" So I don't know whether he wasn't realizing all the hard work he's been doing on the kick
Yeah.
returns and all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Roger.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and he's almost. I'd almost say he'd be top 2 for the Simon Mannering medal. And I actually need to tally up. I haven't tallied up the Wally M points in a few weeks, and Roger's been sneaking up there. So I might do
Mm.
that in the next couple of days, and we'll get something up just so people can
Yep.
see where
Fair
we're at.
enough.
But he must be up there with the Wally M's as well. I imagine. I know that Aaron
Yep.
Clark did start the season very well, so
Yep.
we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
Harris Tavita, your boy, Harris Tavita gets my 2 points. Had a couple of try assists. He had a line break assist, 18 tackles, 197 kick meters. So actually did
Yep.
quite a bit of kicking in the game. A couple of bombs, couple of grubbers. So he sort of, and yeah, I thought that was one of the best games we've seen for him in a while. And from if he can play like that every week, I think he's our
Yeah.
best option at six for sure. And it was I thought that him and Boyd they sort of worked quite well together, and they both knew their role very well. So it was good to
Yep.
see. And one goes to the young boy Elimia Toava. Got there eventually. He
So
for
was
his
that just me?
first try, he only played 44 minutes, but had some big numbers. 147 run meters off 13 runs and 20 tackles. So, yeah, said it before. I really loved what I've seen from him the last couple of
Yep.
weeks, and
Me too.
he's obviously at least while Jackson Ford's not there, he's made one of those bench jerseys his own,
Yep.
and Jacob Laban, he's sort of coming in that spot. So, um, I mean, he's someone, he's like Lecker and Valmaga. He's someone who can just really light the world on fire, eh? So when you've got the likes of those three, on the bench or near about, there's some real impact there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what those guys can do if we do go sort of deep into the finals, and I'd love to see them step up.
Yep. Nice, mate. Well, my Wally Eames are very similar to yours. I had Roger with 3 points as well. I just think he had a brilliant game. For the same reasons you said, the line breaks, the chewing up all the meters as well, and he just looked really hard to put down. And also I love the fact that he was challenging the ball in the air as well. So when he got the opportunity to, so that was really awesome. And I don't know if you remember last week, I was just saying that I would love Roger to score a couple of tries, some more tries, like to complement all the hard work he's been doing. It
Yeah,
wasn't because I'm saying that he can't score tries, but he's been doing all this hard work, but a little reward for him. He's been doing all this hard work and doing. He's one of the best players on the field for the last 6 or 7 weeks, and good to see him get a double. So it was really awesome to see him get some tries there, just to complement his hard work. Boyd, gave 2 points. Tanwa Boyd or Tanwa
nice.
Boyd, Tanwa Boyd. Tanwa Boyd, because I just really need. I mean, what I was looking for in this game, out of this game as a whole, was to see the Warriors actually just lift up their attack. We needed to put points on the board. I mean, I know defense is a big part of a game strategy, but if you can't have attack as well, then that's not going to get you anywhere. You need to put points on the board, and our points differential is a big reflection of how bad we've been doing in attack, as you've noticed. But we're on plus 24 now. It's good to see us in the 20s rather than just in the single digits or in the tens there. But I think that for that to happen, he needed to step up because he's got the number 7 on his back. He needs to, he needs to be the general. He needs to manage the game, manage the side, and also take the ball by and just play play his own running game as well. And he did that. So I think compliments to Tanner Boyd for doing that. 2 points for him, and Harris Davida. I thought this was a really good game from him for the exact same reasons you just mentioned, all the stats you mentioned. A lot of cohesion between him and Boyd in this game, and I think even Andrew Webster post match interview said this is the best that he's seen them as a combination play together. So hopefully
Yeah,
that can continue. So if this is where it starts now, they're doing it at the right time because we're just about to finish the regular season. So yeah, Harris Tavita gets my 1 point for the Williams, mate.
nice, mate. We'll,
Yep,
we'll, we'll tally them up and try get something up this week so we can see where
yep,
we're at. I think it might be a two-horse race between RTS and Aaron Clark, but
yep.
as I said, I actually haven't tallied them all up for the last few weeks. So
Right.
Roger's been making a good late surge, that's for sure.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's taken over just from the last few weeks, but we'll see. Before we go into some more questions, mate, there was one specific question I just mentioned to you just before we got into the YLM. Someone on TikTok saw the video where I asked you the question, from a few weeks ago, where I said, "Is the Warriors season over?" And you said yes, and you basically said yes. It's I don't see us going past the first round of finals, which was, look, at the time, a fair summary. I'm not gonna have a dig at you at that one because I actually thought it was a fair summary because we didn't look like we were doing anything good. We were losing to like the bottom teams, and if we were winning, we were just scraping by. So we weren't looking like a winning team. So that's fair. It's a fair summary. If people want to dispute that, go ahead and dispute it. But the facts don't lie. The reality doesn't lie. What happened over the last few weeks. So the question that this person put on is: are you still saying that now with 2 rounds to go? Are you has your summary or is your opinion changed now with 2 rounds to go after watching that game, after winning 2 games in a row?
Um, well, it's not just the 2 games we've won that I've watched. It's the other, some of these other games that have been happening. In, like last round there was that crazy Raiders Panthers game, which has got the Panthers all of a sudden down to seventh, which is absolutely unbelievable because I had them locked in for a top four spot, and suddenly we're sitting there in the top four. We just need to keep winning, don't we?
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's hard to see us beating the Raiders, Storm. I think we could beat the Bulldogs. I think
yeah,
they definitely look like they're not sort of like they started the season so well and they're slowly just going down and down. We did obviously lose them a few weeks ago, but it was a shocking game from us. It was wet weather conditions and we picked the team really badly. And the Broncos, they're hit and miss, but they're pretty hot when they're on. Like
yeah,
they're playing without their two main halves, and I think the last 2 weeks they've scored 40 plus points, so not far off against the Dolphins and Knights. Yeah, but you can only play what you got in front of you, and we only put 34 on the Titans. The Sharks, who knows what the Sharks are going to do? And the Roosters a couple of weeks ago, I would have thought there's no way we could beat them, but they proved in the weekend that they were shocking against the Eels. I think they had 19 errors in the game or something like that. So yeah, it's a funny old sport, funny old competition. This one.
yeah,
I mean, we're not going to win the grand final this year, but
yeah,
we could go further than first round and we probably will because if we can keep the top four spot, we've got the Eels and the Manly Eagles. Who we should beat both of them, I think, even though the Eels did look pretty good. I think we're at home. We need to get a win at home. And then Manly's decided to put 40, 50 points on the Dolphins on the
yeah.
weekend. So it's just
That was
who
shocking.
knows
Yeah,
what's going to happen. I
yeah,
think
fair.
on paper we should beat the Seagulls. Hopefully we'll win this week and come into that game. So yeah, to answer the question, I'm not as confident that the season's going to be over after the first round of the finals than I was.
Yeah.
Purely because I think that we should keep that top four spot.
Nice. Well, if we keep the top four spot, we're definitely going past the first week.
That's what I mean.
So
Yeah, that's what
automatically,
I mean. Yeah.
yeah. So the question basically is for everyone to know, just to give a bit of context, because I didn't explain it too well at the start, is that I asked Richard a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe, is the Warriors season over? And Richard said he believes they won't go past the first round. And someone's asked on TikTok, are you still saying that the Warriors season is over after 2 rounds? And Richard is basically saying no, but is it because of the top four thing? Of if we okay, let me ask you. Let me go further with this. If we weren't in the top four, would we go past the first? Would we still go past? Are you still confident that we'll go past the first round?
Well, if we were fifth, we'd play against the Roosters. If we were sixth, we'd play against the Panthers. On form, it'd be hard to be confident to see us beating either of those teams, to be honest. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I think and it could be the Broncos or the Sharks. There's still some movement to go there.
yeah,
We do have the lightest or one of definitely the lighter runs home of all the
yeah,
teams that are in that top eight, or particularly the sort of 3 to 8.
yeah,
We could even finish third if the Bulldogs lose the final 2 games and we and we win the final two.
yeah. That's the
Wouldn't that
thing.
be Wouldn't that be wild?
Well, that's one to know. Well, I wanted to lead into that now. So we'll thanks for your answer, and we'll pass on. We'll go on to the next question. Well, it's not really a question; it's just scenarios. I wanted to quickly bring up is that we're sitting in. Let me just pull up the ladder. We're sitting in fourth place. We're on 34 points. Broncos are on fifth place on 32 points. Sharks are on 32 points as well, and the Panthers are on 31. So we've got that 3 point buffer over the Panthers because of that win from over the Milk Duds over the Panthers on the weekend. That was an amazing game. That was crazy,
Yeah.
that finish, wasn't it? That where Nathan Cleary's drop goal
The
hits.
miracle and
Yeah,
Mudgee, as Andrew Voss called it, one of the
yeah,
great Vossisms I like to call them.
yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. And Ethan Strange, man, he's a talent, that boy.
He
Holy
is.
hicka!
He is. He's like a doctor, Doctor Strange. Anyway, so the thing is, so we're on 34 points, and like you said, the Bulldogs, they're on 36, and they're playing the Panthers. If they lose, we could go up to 36, but obviously we can't match their points differential because they're in the hundreds. So they're on 114 points, we're on 26. So
Yeah, it was near 90-point win
yeah,
against
yeah, we'd need some big scoring
the
games. Yeah,
Eels.
but then the thing is that there was some news today from across the ditch from I can't remember the journalist who said this, but I think Penrith are looking to rest a lot of their key players, including Nathan Cleary, for this game and to bring them back in their last game of the season. So yeah, don't know. I mean, if that happens, then it gives more
It's pretty
gives more of a
insane.
chance for the Bulldogs to win.
I suppose they can't not make the eight, can they? Because the Dolphins are on 26. Yeah, so
Well, they're on 31, so it's not like yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I mean, it'd probably back a Penrith B team over the Bulldogs at the moment anyway. So
yeah, well, even if the Roosters won, they'd only get to 30, they'll still be behind the Panthers. So
yeah,
yeah, so I mean, there is that scenario where we could actually, sneak into third place, but I'm just happy with where we are in the top four. As long as we're in the top four, I'm very happy. It gives us a chance. It gives us a life. But yeah. So that's. I mean, I still think we're going to finish in fourth place. I still think we're going to finish in fourth place. What about yourself?
um, it's just so hard to know what's going to happen. As I said
Yeah,
before, yeah,
yeah,
no, I think we will. I think we will. Like we just need to keep winning. Um, you know, no one's got a buy left of all those teams. I think the only
yeah,
teams to have a buy are the Cowboys, the Rabbitohs, who are a bit further down. So,
yeah,
no one's got any guaranteed points. As I said before, the Broncos kind of have looked pretty good, but they've been real hit and miss all season. So I can't see them winning two games.
yeah,
Sharks similar, I actually can't think of who they've got. The Broncos got the Cowboys this week, so I mean it's a game the Cowboys could very easily win. I think
yep, yep,
they're sort of haven't been great this season, but they're a team that'll be high scoring. I can tell you
yeah,
that. Like they'll be. I'm picking like a 36-30 game or something like that. So because they're both teams that love to throw the ball around.
yeah,
The Sharks got the Knights, so they should win that one. But yeah, no, I think we'll hold on to it. I think we'll get a couple of wins to
yep,
finish off the season and come into the finals, and probably play the Raiders. You'd imagine, but the Storm are never far off, are they?
no, exactly. They're only 2 points behind the Raiders, but we'll see what happens because they might just do the same thing and rest players as well. I think even Craig Bellamy said that he has something that's on his mind. So when they know that they're not gonna drop out of the top four, they're not gonna drop out of the top four. They've got a 6 point buffer over the Warriors, so they
Yeah,
can't. It's not possible for them to drop out of the top four. So that's why I think they're thinking, considering that. And I think with the Panthers, even though they're not in the top four, and if people can say, oh, that's really crazy that Cleary wants to rest some of his top players, but the Panthers are a team that can win. Doesn't matter if they're 1 or 8. If they're in eighth position, they can still win the comp. They're that good. They just know how to win. So I don't think it's something that we're too concerned about. But they've been very
yeah. I mean,
unlucky.
if it was any other team, you'd be raising,
Yep, yep.
but you're just like, oh, they won 4 times in a row. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing exactly. So that's why I don't think he's too concerned because they just know they can do it. Game by game. Just take it game
Yeah,
by game.
and who
But
knows? It might be all bunch of bloody porkies that the NRL journos
yeah,
throwing her out there.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if it's flipping, just rumours. How many times has a rumour been thrown around by a journo when there's no fruition in it, and nothing
Yeah,
comes to pass. So
too many
anyway, mate.
times.
Yep. Before we go into preview the Warriors and Eels game, there was a question I wanted to ask you, and I've just forgotten what it was. Oh no! I realised what it was. So on the weekend, it wasn't actually. Sorry, it's not a question. On the weekend, what made this game a bit more sweet for me? This win a bit more sweet for me is that I happened just to jump on some Brisbane Broncos fan pages, Just came up on the feed. It just randomly came up on the feed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how arrogant they are. They were saying before the Warriors game, we're in the top four this weekend, guys. It's gonna happen. Warriors are gonna get smashed by the Titans, and we're gonna do this. And there was so many comments saying, going on about it, and I really wanted to say something, but I thought, you know what, let's just win the game first, and then. But then I decided to be the bigger person, not say anything because yeah, I wanted to be the bigger person, say anything, but just for a bit of banter, But that would have triggered them because they're obviously a bit butthurt that they didn't get in the top four. But yeah, that made it more bittersweet for me. That the fact that the Broncos fans were just expecting them to crawl into the top four this round, it didn't happen.
Not yet,
Yeah,
boys. Not yet. You got maybe another week or two to wait. Maybe not. Hopefully
yeah,
not.
yeah. Go back and paint your nails, mate. All those
Put
Broncos
your eyeliner
fans.
on.
Yeah, put your eyeliner on, and then we'll see what happens. But no, I think who are the Broncos got the Cowboys? Like you said, the Cowboys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if they do, if the Broncos do win and we lose, obviously they'll, even though they'll be on equal points with us, they'll be ahead of us with points differential. That's why points differential is so crucial, isn't it? Throughout the whole season,
Yeah.
that's why it's so
Uh,
crucial. And
It's really gonna could make us pay for it. We could end up on the same points as the Sharks and the Broncos, but we'll end up 2 points behind them because of that. So there'd
yeah,
be a real shade. But it's sort of when you play the way that we do,
yeah,
um, when we grind out these wins, we're not a team that's apart from on the weekend and the Rebels game. I think we scored about 36 points in that game, and then there was the Sharks game we scored 40 odd points. But you think
yeah,
like I think I talked about last week. We're not a team that puts on a heap of points, but we've got enough wins to sort of keep us there or thereabouts. 4-day
yeah,
wins for the season. If you told me at the start of the season we were going to end up on 34 points, 14 wins, I'd be
yeah.
happy. And we've got 2 rounds to go, and we could end up, with 2 or 4 more points. So long live the Wars.
Yeah, bro. Well, honestly, I'm just going to just go out and say this. I don't care if people get upset with this, but honestly, you would not think that. I mean, sometimes you look at where we are in the ladder and you think, how the heck are we there? Like, be honest. Like, how the heck are we on fourth spot? The way we've been playing, and I know that we've been grinding. They've been grinding out some wins, just some small margin wins. And people say a win's a win, and in the end of the day, it can cost us when it comes to points differential, as we just spoke about. But sometimes we're on fourth spot, and I guess that's like, how are we there? But we are there because of all those wins at the start of the season. Those really really tough fought wins, hard fought wins at the start of the season. So thankfully that laid the foundation for us to, even though we lost a few games and lost our way a bit, we were able to remain there because of those games that we fought out. So well
Yeah,
done to the Warriors. Well done to the Wars for doing that. And some lessons learned as well. Realizing that you can't just keep winning just by 2 points or 4 points. Especially when the finals are coming up, you got to show some. You got to show some attacking spirit. And
yeah,
try and put teams to bed, because that's what you got to do now. Right now, it's about putting teams to bed now because we're at the end of the season, towards the end of the season. So
yeah. And you think about we've got the Eels this week. I think they're a team with nothing to lose, and
exactly,
they've showed they absolutely took the Roosters to the sword on the weekend. So we won't be able to sit back and be complacent, that's for sure, because they're a team. They've got some talented players, some good halves,
yeah,
and if we don't keep our head in the game for the whole time, they could really there's a lot of spark in their backline, and we saw that on the weekend.
yeah, exactly. Well, let's move on, mate. We've taken a bit of time on this episode, so we'll quickly try and get through this last part. The Warriors and Eels. Speaking of the Eels, as we were just talking about, what do you want to see in this game from the Warriors? Do you want to see the same thing where they just step up the attack, or what is it that you specifically want to see in this game?
Yeah, I want to see another game where we put a few points on. It doesn't need to be too outrageous, but like I don't want to be. We've watched enough close wins this season,
Yeah,
and we don't need to be proved that this team can win a close game, because they have. You think about the amount of games that they've. You think about the amount of games they've won by probably 6 points or less. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I would imagine at least 8, maybe even 9 of our wins would have been in that sort of 6 to maybe 8 point range. Like 0 to 8 point range. And then you look at the teams like the Dragons, who they don't have a great win loss record. but they've only lost 2 games by 13. You know, like so they're a team who could be in our position, but they're the opposite. They've just lost, so many games by 4, 6, 8 points. So yeah, I just want to see us put on a good performance, score a few points, maybe like a good sort of like comfortable 12 point win, maybe like a
Yeah,
32-20 or something like that.
yeah,
I want to see some more from Tanner Boyd and Harris Tavita in the halves. Like just a bit more direction with the kicking. I think it was pretty good last week, but definitely could be a little bit better. So I'm looking at them, and looking at Fisher Harris to not drop the ball on the first play the ball of the game. I don't know, to be honest with you, apart from that, I think he did. Apart from that, and the little moment in the second half, he had a really good game. I did jot down a few, 148 running meters of 16 carries and 34 tackles. So
yeah,
he was busy, and it was probably one of the better um, games output wise we've got from him this season. I think it's the most running meters he's actually had all season. So I thought he's good. So so bit more of that from him, just smashing it up the middle, leading from the front. Some of these young boys get maybe a bit more of the likes of Lecker. I think I can't remember. I feel like he came on quite late in the game on the weekend.
yeah.
Obviously came off the bench. So I just a bit more spark on attack. But last week was a really good platform to build from,
Yeah.
and just keep some of that up for me. How about yourself,
Yep.
bro?
Yeah, fair enough. I like that. So the game was on Friday night at 8 p.m. At home. I'm just like you just said. I'm looking for the Warriors just to build on what they've done in this Titans game, and hopefully they can not think that they've reached capacity. I just want them to think we can do better than this. We can even be better. We can go up another level too. We can raise the hype up a bit more, and that's what I'm hoping the Warriors will do. That they'll look at this game and not just thinking, okay, this team is not in the top 8, they're down the bottom, but they've been doing okay of late. Since Mitchell Moses came back, they've been doing okay, and even when they've lost games, they haven't been getting smashed or anything. So for me, it's just hoping that they can just continue this little whatever was said to them before the Titans game, what they need to do, and the game plan, and with the passing, the passing sticking to the hands and everything, and just to build on that, just exactly what you just said, just to build on that and make sure that it just happens again, but to go up another level too, because if they want to go really far into this final series, they're going to have to. They've got no choice.
Yeah.
You can't just kind of hold on to have a defensive strategy. You can't just do that, especially in the finals. You can't do that. So really hoping that they can just go up and keep on building from what they've done. Like you said, they've laid the platform now in the Titans game. Let's keep on going, keep building, and let's get better. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. Just have a look through our record against the Eels, and
yeah,
I hate to break it to you, but we've got another hoodoo. We need a break here.
yeah.
We've lost 5 of the last 6 to the Eels.
Oh, really?
So admittedly, only one of them have been at home
Yeah,
because of all those games through COVID. But yeah, since 2019, we've played them 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times, and yeah, we've only won one of those 6 games. So
oh,
um, one game was at Suncorp, so maybe that was a magic round, and then a couple at Combank. Yeah, just probably just the NRL dogging the Warriors as usual, not giving them any home games against the Eels. But yeah, just something to be wary of. Obviously,
okay,
mentioned before
interesting.
they had a really good game on the weekend against the Roosters, and I mean the Roosters didn't do themselves any favours, and the fact they had 19 errors in the game and completed it like 57% or something like that.
Yeah,
So
they
um,
look good. Yeah, they do look
doesn't
good.
doesn't doesn't help. So it probably made the Eels look a little bit better than they are. But um, I just a bit more of the same. I mean, do you think there'll be any team list sort of changes this week? I'm just thinking of injuries and all that. There's nothing clear that stands out, is
I
there?
mean, I do admit that like I was like, wow, far out. I was just like, bloody heck, when I saw Rockabiri with
Yeah,
literally with 1 minute to go, he was on the ground. I was I admit that I was like, come on.
chasing a bomb he didn't really need. Contesting a bomb he didn't really need to be contesting as well.
But that's
So,
what he was
oh,
doing.
come
He
on,
was just
mate.
he was just hungry, right? But I was
Yeah.
just like, I actually remember this before that happened. I was saying to myself, thinking of notes, for videos and stuff for content, and I was just thinking like, and finally, Berry goes 80 minutes without
Yeah.
getting injured, and then with 1 minute to go, that happens. I'm like, oh fuck, right? You got to be kidding me. But then
Unbelievable.
But then I saw pictures on the Warriors Facebook page and Instagram page where he was in the sheds smiling and stuff. So
Yeah, they
he had a big
interviewed him after the game. He didn't look like he was in too much pain. So I'm
yeah.
hopeful that he'll get the call up again.
I think I might text him. I might actually text the guy because I haven't spoken to him in about. I think the last time I spoke to Rocco Berry was in COVID times when they were based over there. When they were based over there and they were doing the
Yeah.
NRL a favour. I spoke to Rocco Berry over.
And you're working for the Wire Rapper Times.
Oh, that. Yes, that's actually yes. Yes? I was working for that newspaper at the time. I was writing for that newspaper at the time, and he's a Wadded Upper boy, so that's where I got that interview done with him. But that's the last time I spoke to him. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was actually quite long ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't spoken to him in a long time. So I might actually send him a text and just ask him how he is, see how he is, and get a response, and see if I can get that screenshot and put it on somewhere. But no, I'm glad that he looked alright at the end because he had a brilliant game, and I think he's been a big missing piece of our puzzle.
Yeah.
Especially over the last few weeks, when we're trying to figure out, because we've been using fill-ins for centre. Let's admit it. Kurt Capewell, Chance. We've been using fill-ins, so I was glad to see he's like a genuine centre there and knows what he's doing, and he looked really hungry. So that you can't go wrong with that. So yeah,
And Pompey looks better playing on the left as well. Like he's played a
yeah,
little bit on the right here and there, but I think he
yeah,
definitely looks better playing on. This is his preferred side, I believe. So
yeah,
I don't mind that centre pairing at all.
yeah, exactly. All right, mate. Any last words before we shut things down here?
No, mate, just said before, looking for a complete performance. Tanner Boyd and Harris Tavita have a couple of try assists each. Want to see Gallen get over as well. He got close last week.
Yeah,
Just needs to score a couple of tries, get their confidence up coming to the finals. So
yeah,
up the mighty wires, baby.
yep. Too right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thank you for all the support that you've been showing us. We're getting a lot of comments of late, and we're trying to answer all of them. But if we don't answer your comment, apologies. Sometimes there's just too many. But thanks a lot, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow us on all our platforms: Facebook,
Subscribe.
TikTok,
Like and
Instagram,
subscribe.
YouTube. Like and subscribe. Yep. So yeah. So hopefully on next Monday we'll be coming in to you shouting out another Warriors win over the Eels and cementing our spot in the top 4. So before then, have a good one, everyone, and up the wires.
Up the wires, baby. Choo choo.
Shout!